Happy Monday, everyone. I hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. I hate to say it, and I know Candace Owens is saying it. I told you so. And she was right about Brigitte Macron is a dude. Yes, a dude. So this president wife, Emmanuel Macron's wife, she was born as a man. And we're going to dive in and we're going to discuss how it was determined that she was a dude. She's a dude. She's actually a dude, which I knew it and everyone else did, but people wanted to confirm that Candace Owens was right and she was telling the truth. Also, I want to discuss living paycheck to paycheck, how frustrating it can be, how you feel like, it's impossible to invest and save. And I just want to give you tips about how you can go about not living paycheck to paycheck and how you can do things to make your life a little bit easier. So welcome back, everyone, to That's It. Well, you guys, Candace Owens was right. A woman who claimed Brigitte Macron was born as a man, and it was clear from a defamation. Yes, you guys, you heard it first, and it says it on the Daily Mail. It says a woman claimed Brigitte Macron was born as a man are cleared of defamation. So apparently, two reporters was doing I would say a documentary or a report about the life of Brigitte Macron, like where she came from, where did she grow up, how she became, the Madam's president, stuff like that. And when the reporter was like digging in about her life, some of it wasn't making sense. There was no pictures of her childhood, no pictures of her, married or anything like that. Maybe just the bare minimum. And then the woman, I forgot her name. Oh gosh, if you guys can help me out, her name. I can't remember her name, but she was doing, like I said, a report about her, and I guess the Macrons got wind of it, and they locked her up. They locked her up because she was just asking some questions about her life and where she grew up and stuff like that. And I guess Brigitte Macron didn't like the fact that she was asking some really important questions about her life, and basically they put her in jail, and which was just really crazy and ridiculous. Why would they do that to her? And now it's cleared. Like Brigitte Macron is a dude. So Candace Owens was right all this time, and everyone thought that she was crazy when she first, talked about it on her show. She did a series about Brigitte Macron, which I watched her series the entirety, and I did my own research too. And it's just incredible. And what she was saying was absolutely right and correct. And I even spoke about it on my podcast. And on top of that, to make it even more extra, I even got the book of Becoming Brigitte, which you can see, investigated by Xavier Prasad. And I have to say, this is just incredible. Natasha Ray. Natasha Ray was one of the reporters that was investigating, that was her, about Brigitte Macron. And she's the woman that was arrested and for defamation, or, she didn't know what she was talking about. She's accusing, the president's wife, Emmanuel Macron's wife, oh, she's really a dude. She's not a woman. And they didn't like that, when all reality, Natasha Ray and other reporters were telling the truth, because the defamation, was cleared. So Candace Owens was right. Everyone was wrong. Everyone was doubting Candace Owens, that they were telling her she's crazy. She's just doing for clicks and clouds and to boost her podcast to get ratings. And I have to say, she's not the type of woman like that. I don't know her per se, but I just could tell from her personality and everything that she's a child of God. And there's no reason for her to lie or to make things up. She even heard about it. She heard about this story, and she even said it from read it from an article or someone else. And all she was doing was just talking about it. And all she was doing is asking questions, digging things up. And to her, something was not right. Something did not make sense. And she wanted to talk about it. And when she reported it, that Brigitte Macron was actually a man, everyone was just freaking out, saying, "Oh, I can't believe it! Candace Owens said this. Emmanuel's wife, the president of France. How dare she? She can't say that without having any proof when she did her research and everything was fact checked. You know what I mean? And now she's just laughing and saying, "See, I told you so." People were doubting me, calling me crazy, saying this is conspiracy theory. Oh, and sure enough, Candace Owens was right all this time. So kudos for Candace Owens, and I don't understand why people doubt her, why people doubt the things that she says. It's not like she says things to make it up, or you know what I mean. The woman is smart. She knows what She knows what she's talking about, and she fact checks everything. She's just not going to say things on her podcast and it's all a lie. You know what I mean? She cares about her reputation, and she cares about the truth. So do I. And the truth always wins. Always wins. You know what I mean? You can lie until you're blue in the face. You can cover up things, but the truth always wins, no matter what. And do you remember her going to Piers Morgan, and Piers Morgan was really talking to her and telling her that, I'm not saying that he said that she's crazy, that she doesn't have actual proof that Brigitte Macron is a man, was born as a man, and they were like having a heated debate. But I want you to take a listen to what they had to say.
Just look at what you're doing to Brigitte Macron, telling the world she's a man. She's not a man, she's a woman. You're waging a campaign against her to denigrate her in the public eye.
My series has completed and it's gone worldwide, and that's how the truth works. I'm certain you haven't watched it because the majority opinion is that she was born a man now. I just took the time and showed them all of the overwhelming evidence that it was true. Look, we live in a time where there are transgendered people. Brigitte Macron just happens to be one of them.
In a recent episode of Piers Morgan Uncensored, a heated debate unfolded between Piers Morgan and Candace Owens regarding a conspiracy theory about Brigitte Macron, the First Lady of France. Owens promoted claims suggesting that Brigitte Macron was born male, referencing investigations by French journalists who questioned her gender. Morgan challenged Owens on the lack of credible evidence, labeling the theory as outrageous and accusing her of promoting it for clouts and clicks. This exchange highlights the tensions arising from the spread of unverified claims and the responsibilities of public figures in addressing such sensitive topics.
Okay, sensitive topics. Well, she didn't do it for clouts and clicks, and she was actually telling the truth. So take a listen to the next video of Candace Owens, what she had to say to Piers Morgan.
But it is established beyond any doubt that she was born a woman. Do you accept that, Bet?
Make it rain, Piers. Make it rain.
Make it
okay.
rain.
Because, look, first and foremost, 100,000 pounds. Can we look up what that means in U.S. dollars? Let's see what that... Over $135,000. I'll round it up. Let's round it up to $1 there. 136,000 U.S. dollars are mine. So I'm not going to let you get away with this. I want my money.
That's
It's going to be like that Family Guy scene where Stewie's like beating up Brian. I want my money. Where's my money? Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's how it started, and this is how it's going. Check out this headline. We are trending all over France. This is huge news. Women who claimed Brigitte Macron was born a man are cleared of defamation because that's how the truth works.
Amen.
It's amazing that they even initially got convicted because of corruption, of defaming the French First Lady. It was this false conviction that the media then touted out as a win, saying, see, she's not born a man. But that actually wasn't what was at root of the case, as many of you guys know that have been following the series. Anyways, what has happened today is that the judges that were sitting at the Paris Appeal Court on Thursday ruled that Amandine Roy, that is the 53-year-old clairvoyant, and Natasha Ray, and she has been absolutely fantastic. She's a 49-year-old journalist, blogger, and researcher that teamed up and first and foremost.
Okay. Well, you hit it first. It's clear. Brigitte Macron was born as a man. And take a look at the picture. Like, you're trying to tell me they look exactly the same. the same features, the glasses, the chin underneath. This was a man, okay, that transitioned to a woman, which that's perfectly fine. No one doesn't care about that. We just care about the lies that he told to the French people that she was born as a woman when she was clearly born as a man. And there's proof of it. And this is why people don't like the lies. If she would have told the truth from the get-go, everything would have been fine. People wouldn't have an issue with it. The only issue that they had is that she pursued her now husband, Emmanuel Macron, at the age of 14. And I believe, that she was 37. He was 37, 38 at the time. And to me, that's basically a pedophile. That's having sex with a minor. You know what I mean? I don't know the age bracket in France. You have to be, 17 or 18? I don't know. But to me, that's against the law to have sex with a minor. And maybe that's why they was trying to cover this whole thing up. But anyway, the point of the matter is that Brigitte Macron was born as a man. And that's a fact. And the judge cleared those two women, like Candace Owens said. Case closed. So no one's not crazy. And Candace Owens was telling the truth. And also Xavier Prasad was telling the truth. Definitely check out this book, Becoming Brigitte. It's absolutely incredible. You definitely have to read it. And everything that they said was factual and the truth. And that's all I'm going to say about that topic. Next topic that I want to talk about. What's up with women and money? Seriously, what's up with women and money? Including myself, I'm talking about. Do you know, and I didn't even know this, 43% of Americans who say they live paycheck to paycheck are 85% are women. And I wasn't aware of that, but you know what? I believe it. I believe it because I was one of those women that was living paycheck to paycheck. And it can be so difficult and so frustrating, and you just want to pull your hair out. You know, you want to invest in something, you want to save money, but you feel like it's just impossible, right? But wrong. Nothing is impossible. You can save money. How? A lot of people are going to say, how can I do it, Cheryl? You know, I have bills on top of bills and this and that. How can I save money? How can I invest in something that I want to invest? Well, you can change that. You can change by, tracking your spending, budgeting the basic things that you do every single day. You know what I mean? Track the money and see how much money is going in. And sometimes you have to cut things off. You got to cut things that you enjoy doing, but you have to look at the brighter picture of why you're doing it, and so you don't have to live paycheck by paycheck. Like for instance, if you are the type of person that likes to go out to eat all the time, cut that out. You know, the money that you're spending on going out to eat, you can food prep in your home. And that money that you've taken to go out to eat, you can put that money aside and for something else that's more important. Also, if you like to go shopping, cut that out too. Like stop spending money on clothes or shoes or things that you may not need at the particular moment. Okay? Going out to bars or movie theaters or anything in that matter, cut it down, cut it off, because the more money that you spend on drinks and going out to eat or shopping or going on vacations that you know you don't have the money for it and you putting it on your credit card, you're going to put yourself more into debt, and you're also going to continue to be living paycheck by paycheck. You have to, track your money, budget everything that you have, and which is more priority instead of instead of spending money on unnecessary things. And I know for me, it was tough. It was hard living paycheck by paycheck and just struggling day in and day out, like how I'm going to pay my electric bill, how I'm going to pay my car note, how I'm going to do this. And then when I took the time to write down all my bills and everything, meaning everything, my bills, what I'm spending, and that I looked at it, I'm like, wow, I'm spending so much money on this, on that. And I'm like, I have to cut some things off. I have to cut things out, and that's what you have to do. Like I had to stop, spending money on food. I had to stop shopping because I loved to shop at the time and buying clothes, shoes, purses, accessories. I had to cut that out. I had to cut going to bars, getting drinks with my friends. I had to cut a lot of things out so I didn't have to struggle living paycheck by paycheck. And once I started doing that, and once I started putting the most important things on the top of my list, like paying my bills, paying off my credit cards, getting out of debt, and putting money away, I see, oh my gosh, like it can happen. And it did. You know what I mean? I put money on the side, started saving money, putting money in my savings account, investing on, small things like stocks and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, this is getting good. And I kept doing it, and I kept doing it, I kept doing it. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't go out every now and then. Of course, you should treat yourself, but don't make a habit of doing that, though, each and every time. Obviously put money on the side for you to do if you want to go out to eat, get your nails done, just do something nice for yourself. And I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. That's okay to do, but you just, again, be mindful of the money that you're spending, and just budget your bills, because I know it's not easy. That women these days are living paycheck by paycheck. It's tough, it's challenging, it's frustrating, and it's like where all this money is going. And I know I've been through it. I know you've been through it. A lot of people have been through it, and it sucks. I'm not gonna lie to you, it sucks. But if you want to do something about it and you want change, the change is cutting off the spendings that you don't need to spend, like going out to eat, shopping, going to trips that you don't even have money for, the trips, on vacations, and then you put it on your credit card, and then you're on debt, and then you got to pay that off with interest. Then how you expect to save? How you expect to invest? How you expect to do the things that you want to do when you continue to live paycheck by paycheck? And all the money that you work hard for, it's going to other things. So there's things that you should cut back if you want to not live paycheck by paycheck. Also, if you have a job that you don't like, probably look for another job that pays a little bit more. If you live in it depends where you live too. If you live in a city, maybe it's better to relocate to live somewhere a little bit different, a different location that it's much cheaper. Because I know New York City is very expensive opposed to living in Westchester, or if you live in LA, Chicago, wherever places that they have in the city, that to relocate, to move somewhere is a little bit cheaper and better, to help you out with your finances. And nothing is impossible. Nothing. Everything is possible through God. As long as you're dedicated and you're driven and you're focused and you see the bigger picture of the way you're spending and the things that you cut out, then everything what's the word? It's going to come a long way. You're going to look at it like, oh, I'm glad I did this. I'm glad I cut out this spending. I'm glad I cut out that spending. And when you see money that's flowing in your bank account, your savings, you're going to say, okay, this is worth doing. You know what I mean? And I did that, and I don't live paycheck by paycheck. I really don't, because I cut the things that I don't really need to do. You know what I mean? I get meal prep at home. I really don't go out as much like I used to, so there's no need for me to go shopping. I cut a lot of things out. However, there's things that I do spend money on, like get my hair done, get my eyebrows waxed, my nails done, just to treat myself a little bit. And every woman should treat themselves a little bit. I have money on the side to do that. But on top of that, I make sure all my bills are paid. And I make sure I put a little bit savings in the bank, so just in case of an emergency, I have it. But the whole point of this topic and this conversation is not to live paycheck by paycheck. And if you're tired of living paycheck by paycheck, do something about it instead of bitching and complaining and crying and sobbing, because I done it. I know you have done it too. Do something about it. Cut things that you off, like cut the waste, cut the stuff that you necessarily don't need to purchase. And I promise you, once you do that and once you stick to it and not fall back on it, I promise you will see a different results. Because the results that I used to do, it was not working out for me. It wasn't. I was frustrated. I was angry. I was mad. I'm like, this is not helping, until I got my shit together and wrote all the list down of the stuff that I needed to pay and stuff that I spend that I didn't didn't really necessarily needed to spend money on. And then once I was on track and I had the budget and had the goals that I wanted, and I started to see results. And you will see results too. It's like working out. If you want to lose a couple of pounds, what do you have to do? You got to cut back the sugar. You got to cut back all that junk that you're eating and work out. You know, there's no easy fix quick unless you take some pills or some energy drink. I don't know. I don't know the new diet these days. Okay, but there's no quick fix. Okay, you have to do the work, and when you do the work, you get results. Same thing with budgeting and putting money away. You get results. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Thank you so much for watching. That's it. And I will see you guys Tuesday. Take care.